Buckle up, because we're diving into the wild world of the 1976 D Jefferson nickel, a coin that sparked whispers of a jaw-dropping $33 million valuation, turning pocket change into a potential fortune and igniting the imaginations of collectors and dreamers alike. Could this unassuming 5-cent piece from Denver really be the holy grail of numismatics? Or is it just another tall tale in the coin-collecting universe? Let's unravel the saga of the Jefferson nickel, a coin born in 1938 to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president, whose profile graces its obverse, while his Monticello estate adorns the reverse, a design crafted by German-born artist Felix Schlag after a fierce competition that saw 390 entries vie for the $1,000 prize. The 1976 D nickel, struck at the Denver Mint, is one of over 300 million produced that year, making it a common coin in circulated condition, with a standard composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing 5 grams, measuring 21.21 millimeters in diameter, and featuring a plain edge, hardly the stuff of legend at first glance. Yet, the internet has been ablaze with claims that a specific 1976 D Jefferson nickel could be worth $33 million, a figure that sounds like it belongs in a Hollywood heist flick rather than a coin collector's handbook. To understand this, we need to dig into the history of Jefferson nickels and the factors that can elevate a humble 5-cent coin to astronomical value. The Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel, a coin plagued by striking issues since 1913, and by 1938, the U.S. Mint was ready for a change, launching a design contest that demanded Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. Schlag's winning design, initially featuring a 3/4 view of Monticello with a tree that Mint officials mistakenly thought was a palm, was revised to a frontal view, a decision some historians argue dulled its artistic flair. Production began in October 1938 across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, with over 30 million nickels minted that first year, though early hoarding meant they didn't fully circulate until 1940. Fast forward to 1976, a year steeped in bicentennial fervor, when the U.S. Mint churned out coins celebrating America's 200th birthday, though the Jefferson nickel itself didn't get a special design like quarters, half-dollars, and dollars, which bore dual 1776 to 1976 dates and unique reverses. The 1976 D nickel, marked with a D mint mark to the right of Monticello, was struck in massive quantities, over 563 million, according to records, making it anything but scarce in everyday circulation. So, what could possibly make one worth $33 million? The answer lies in the rare alchemy of numismatics, condition, errors, and rarity. Most 1976 D nickels in circulated grades are worth face value, maybe $1 or $2 in mint state up to MS-64, but the magic happens with coins graded MS-65 or higher, especially those with full steps, FS, a designation for nickels where the 5 or 6 steps leading to Monticello's entrance are sharply struck, a rarity due to die wear and striking pressures. PCGS estimates fewer than 100 1976 D nickels exist in MS-65 full steps, and in MS-66 full steps, the population drops to a few dozen, driving values to hundreds or thousands of dollars, but nowhere near $33 million. The viral claim likely stems from a misunderstanding or exaggeration of auction records for other Jefferson nickels, like the 1964 SMS, Special Mint Set, nickel, which fetched $32,900 in 2016 due to its prototype-like quality and extreme rarity, with only about 19 known examples. Could a 1976 D nickel have a similar pedigree? Perhaps a unique error, like a dramatic double die, an overdate, or a misstrike, could push its value into the stratosphere, but no documented 1976 D nickel matches the $33 million figure. Consider the 1943/2 P Jefferson nickel, an overdate error where the 3 and 2 overlap, which sold for $17,250 in 2006, or the 1950 D, a low mintage key date at $2.6 million, fetching thousands in top condition. Even the fabled 1913 Liberty Head nickel, with only 5 known examples, sold for $3.7 million in 2010, far short of $33 million. Another possibility is a mix-up with the 1976 bicentennial dollar coins, struck in copper nickel clad or 40% silver for collectors, but even those are worth mere dollars unless they're pristine proofs or errors. The numismatic world is rife with stories of hollow nickels, too, like the 1948 Jefferson nickel used by a Soviet spy in 1953 to conceal a microphotograph, but such curiosities add historical intrigue, not millions in value. Online forums and X-posts have fueled the $33 million myth, with some speculating a unique 1976 D-era coin, perhaps a one-of-a-kind misstrike or an unverified prototype, could exist, but no auction records or grading services like PCGS or NGC confirm this. The closest comparables are coins like the 1938 D Jefferson nickel, which sold for $33,600 in 2022 for an exceptional full steps example, or the 1949 D/S over mint mark, valued at $32,900 in 2014. These high prices reflect pristine condition, low mintage, or rare errors, not a standard 1976 D. The coin market thrives on supply and demand, with condition rarity often trumping mintage numbers. A 1976 D in MS67 full steps could theoretically fetch tens of thousands, but millions seem implausible without a groundbreaking discovery. Collectors also chase errors like double dies, repunched mint marks, or off-metal strikes, as seen in the 2007 George Washington dollar struck over a Jefferson nickel, which sold for $17,625. The 1976 D, however, lacks any widely recognized error of such magnitude. The bicentennial year did see heightened coin collecting, with many saving sets, so uncirculated 1976 D nickels are plentiful, further dampening their value unless extraordinary. Numismatic experts advise checking for full steps, using a magnifying glass to spot errors, and consulting appraisers, as even common nickels can surprise with hidden value. The $33 million figure may be a viral exaggeration, perhaps inspired by misreported auction data or a speculative listing, but it underscores the allure of coin hunting. Every pocketful of change could hide a treasure. For now, the 1976 D Jefferson nickel remains a fascinating piece of Americana, tied to Jefferson's complex legacy as a founding father and enslaver, and a reminder that value in coins often lies in the stories we tell about them. So, next time you find a 1976 D nickel, check those steps, inspect for errors, and dream big, but maybe don't quit your day job just yet. Then hit that like and subscribe button to stay in the loop for more 1981 P Jefferson nickel USA coins today. Coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, and history buffs to an exciting deep dive into one of the most fascinating stories in American numismatics, the 1981 P Jefferson nickel and the incredible errors, mistakes, and mint mark anomalies that could potentially make it worth a staggering $70 million, far beyond its humble 5-cent face value. Buckle up for a journey through the intricate world of coin collecting, where a single tiny flaw can transform a pocket change nickel into a collector's holy grail, a piece of history that sparks imaginations and drives collectors to pay jaw-dropping sums at auctions. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, was designed by Felix Schlag to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and features his portrait on the obverse and his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse, a design that has become iconic in American coinage. By 1981, the Jefferson nickel was a mainstay in circulation, struck in massive quantities at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced 657,504,000 of these coins, identifiable by the absence of a mint mark, as was standard for Philadelphia issues at the time. But what makes certain 1981 P. Jefferson nickels so extraordinarily valuable? It's all about the errors, those rare, accidental imperfections that occur during the minting process, turning an ordinary coin into a numismatic masterpiece. Let's explore the myriad of errors, from double dies to repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and planchet errors, that could elevate a 1981 P nickel to such an astronomical value, and we'll unpack the history, the mechanics of minting, and the collector frenzy that surrounds these elusive treasures. To understand why a 1981 P. Jefferson nickel could be worth $70 million, we need to start with the minting process itself, a complex operation where precision is paramount, but mistakes are inevitable. The Philadelphia Mint, established in 1792, was the primary facility for striking coins in the early years of the Jefferson nickel series, and by 1981, it was churning out nickels by the millions to meet the demands of commerce. Each coin begins as a blank planchet, a flat metal disc made of a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel, measuring 21.21 millimeters in diameter and weighing exactly 5 grams. These planchets are fed into presses that stamp the obverse and reverse designs using dies, which are engraved metal molds that impart the coin's details, including Jefferson's portrait, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and 1981, on the obverse, and "E Pluribus Unum," Monticello, and 5 cents, on the reverse. The 1981 P nickel, lacking a mint mark, was struck without the identifying letter that other mints like Denver, D, or San Francisco, S, used, a practice that resumed in 1968 after a brief hiatus due to a coin shortage in the 1960s. Errors occur when something goes awry in this meticulous process, whether it's a misalignment, a defective die, or an incorrect planchet, and these mistakes create coins that are unique, rare, and highly sought after by collectors. One of the most coveted errors in numismatics is the double die, where the design on the die is accidentally duplicated, resulting in a coin with visibly doubled elements, such as letters, numbers, or parts of Jefferson's profile. For the 1981 P Jefferson nickel, a hypothetical double die obverse, DDO, could show dramatic doubling in the inscriptions, Liberty, or 1981, or even in Jefferson's eye, nose, or hair details, making the coin instantly recognizable under magnification. A strong double die, especially one graded in high mint state, MS65 or above, by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, could command prices in the tens of thousands or more, as seen with other famous double die nickels like the 1939 doubled Monticello, or the 1943 P double die, which have fetched premiums due to their rarity and visual appeal. While no widely documented 1981 P double die exists to the extent of these earlier examples, the possibility of an undiscovered or underreported specimen could theoretically push its value into the millions if it were pristine and certified as a unique variety. Another error that could skyrocket the value of a 1981 P nickel is a repunched mint mark, RPM, though this is less likely for a Philadelphia coin since it lacks a mint mark. However, in the realm of hypothetical errors, imagine a scenario where a die intended for a Denver or San Francisco mint was mistakenly used at Philadelphia, then corrected, leaving a faint trace of a D or S mint mark. Such an error would be a numismatic anomaly, akin to the 1942 D over horizontal D, which has sold for over $15,000 in high grades due to its striking visual error where the mint mark was punched incorrectly and then corrected, leaving a clear overlay. If a 1981 P nickel were discovered with a ghost mint mark from an erroneous die, its uniqueness could drive its value exponentially, especially if it were the only known example, as collectors prize one-of-a-kind errors. Off-center strikes are another error type that could make a 1981 P nickel exceptionally valuable, occurring when the planchet is misaligned in the press, resulting in a coin where the design is shifted off the center, sometimes leaving a portion of the planchet blank. A 1981 P nickel with a dramatic off-center strike, say, 50% or more off-center, with clear details of Jefferson's portrait or Monticello still visible, could fetch thousands of dollars, especially if it's in uncirculated condition. For example, other Jefferson nickels with significant off-center errors have sold for $1,000 to $5,000, and a particularly rare 1981 P example with pristine preservation could theoretically climb much higher in a heated auction. Another fascinating error is the wrong planchet strike, where a nickel is struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, such as a dime or a quarter. In 1976, for instance, Jefferson nickels struck on dime planchets, 17.91 millimeters in diameter and 2.27 grams, were discovered, and these errors have sold for hundreds to thousands of dollars due to their rarity and the striking visual contrast of a nickel design on a smaller, lighter planchet. If a 1981 P nickel were found struck on a dime planchet, with partial inscriptions or a clipped appearance due to the smaller size, its value could soar, potentially into the tens of thousands, as collectors love the oddity of such mistakes. Even more exotic would be a 1981 P nickel struck on a foreign planchet, like the 1976 nickel struck on a Philippine Centimo planchet, which weighs only 1.2 grams and is made of aluminum magnesium. Such an error would be a numismatic unicorn, and if certified and unique, could push the coin's value into the millions, as seen with other ultra-rare wrong planchet errors like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, one of which sold for $4.56 million in 2018. Clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to an error in the blanking process, are another collectible anomaly. A 1981 P nickel with a significant curved clip, where the missing section creates a crescent-shaped defect, could be worth hundreds to thousands, depending on the size of the clip and the coin's condition. Multiple error coins, those with a combination of errors, such as an off-center strike on a wrong planchet, are even more valuable, as they represent a perfect storm of minting mishaps. Imagine a 1981 P nickel that's 30% off-center, struck on a dime planchet, and shows a faint double die effect. Such a coin would be a numismatic marvel, potentially fetching millions at auction due to its unparalleled rarity. The full steps designation also plays a critical role in the value of Jefferson nickels, including the 1981 P. This term refers to the clarity of the steps leading up to Monticello on the reverse, with a full steps FS coin showing 5 or 6 distinct, uninterrupted steps. Achieving this level of detail requires a precise strike, which is uncommon, especially in high mintage years like 1981. A 1981 P nickel graded MS65 or higher with full steps could be worth $50 to $100, but if combined with a rare error like a double die or off-center strike, the value could increase exponentially. For context, a 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel with full steps sold for $41,231.25 at auction, illustrating how condition rarities and errors can combine to create blockbuster prices. The 1981 P nickel's potential $70 million valuation would likely stem from an unprecedented combination of these errors, perhaps a unique coin with a dramatic double die, struck on a wrong planchet, off-center, and in pristine MS68 condition with full steps. Such a coin would be a once-in-a-lifetime find, akin to the 1804 silver dollar or the 1933 double eagle, which have fetched millions due to their rarity and historical significance. The history of the Jefferson nickel itself adds to the allure of such a find. Introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, which was notoriously difficult to strike, the Jefferson nickel was a triumph of design and durability. Felix Schlag's winning design, selected through a competition with a $1,000 prize, captured Jefferson's likeness based on a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon, and the reverse featured Monticello, Jefferson's architectural masterpiece. The coin's composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, has remained consistent since 1946, except for the wartime silver nickels of 1942 to 1945, which used a 35% silver alloy to conserve nickel for the war effort. These silver, war nickels, are identifiable by large mint marks above Monticello, a feature absent in 1981 P nickels but relevant to understanding mint mark errors in the series. The 1981 P nickel was struck during a period of economic inflation and high mintages, which typically reduces the likelihood of valuable errors due to improved minting technology. Next, 1977 P Jefferson nickel USA coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters, to an exciting deep dive into one of the most fascinating stories in American numismatics, the 1977 P Jefferson nickel, a coin that could potentially be worth a staggering $71 million, far beyond its humble 5-cent face value, due to rare errors, minting mistakes, and unique characteristics that make it a holy grail for collectors. Buckle up as we explore the intricate world of this iconic coin, minted in Philadelphia in 1977, and uncover the secrets behind its extraordinary value, diving into the history, design, minting process, and the elusive errors that could transform a pocket change nickel into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, was designed by Felix Schlag to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, a founding father, and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, with his portrait gracing the obverse and his Virginia estate, Monticello, depicted on the reverse, a design that has become one of the most enduring in U.S. coinage history. The 1977 P. Jefferson nickel, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally omits a mint mark on its coins, was produced in massive quantities, with a mintage of over 585 million, making it a common coin in circulated condition, typically worth only its face value of 5 cents or slightly more for its metal content, which is a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing 5 grams with a diameter of 21.21 millimeters and a plain edge. However, what elevates certain 1977 P nickels to astronomical value are the rare and captivating errors and varieties that occurred during the minting process, errors so scarce and significant that they could make a single coin worth millions, potentially even reaching the jaw-dropping figure of $71 million in the right collector's hands. To understand this, let's first look at the minting process in 1977 at the Philadelphia Mint, where high-speed presses churned out millions of nickels to meet the demands of commerce, but the sheer volume of production often led to mistakes, ranging from minor imperfections to dramatic errors that collectors prize today. One of the most coveted errors in coin collecting is the double die obverse, DDO, where the die used to strike the coin is mistakenly engraved with a doubled image, causing elements like Jefferson's profile, the date, or inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," to appear with a noticeable shadow or doubling effect, which can be subtle or pronounced depending on the severity of the error. For the 1977 P Jefferson nickel, a strong DDO could significantly increase its value, with high-grade examples potentially fetching thousands or even millions if the doubling is dramatic and well-preserved, as seen in other years like the 1969 DDO nickel, which has sold for over $100,000 in pristine condition. Another error that could elevate a 1977 P nickel's worth is the repunched mint mark, RPM, though this is less likely for Philadelphia coins since they typically lack a mint mark, but in rare cases, a mispunched or overpunched mark from a reused die could create a unique variety, such as a faint D or S appearing where no mint mark should be, a mistake that could intrigue collectors and drive up value to tens of thousands or more. Off-center strikes are another thrilling error, where the coin blank, or planchet, is misaligned during striking, resulting in a coin with part of the design missing or shifted, and a 1977 P nickel with a significant off-center strike, say 50% or more, while still retaining key elements like the date and Jefferson's portrait, could command prices in the range of $500 to $5,000 depending on the degree of misalignment and condition. Broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, causing it to spread out larger than normal with distorted edges, are also valuable, potentially fetching $1,000 or more in uncirculated condition, as these errors create a visually striking effect that appeals to error collectors. Another rare error is the struck-on-wrong planchet mistake, where a 1977 P nickel is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or penny planchet, resulting in a coin that is the wrong size, weight, or composition, and such errors are exceptionally rare, with values easily reaching $10,000 to $50,000 or higher, depending on the planchet type and the coin's condition, as seen in cases like the 1969 nickel struck on a dime planchet, which sold for over $30,000. Clipped planchet errors, where part of the coin blank is missing due to an incomplete punch from the metal strip, create a crescent-shaped void on the coin's edge, and while these are less valuable, a well-defined clip on a 1977 P nickel could still fetch $100 to $1,000, especially in mint state. Die cracks and die breaks, where the die used to strike the coin develops fractures, can produce raised lines or irregular shapes on the coin's surface, and significant examples, such as a cut error where a large piece of the die breaks off, could increase the coin's value to $500 or more, particularly if the cut affects a prominent area like Jefferson's face or Monticello. Lamination errors, where the coin's surface peels or splits due to impurities in the metal alloy, are less dramatic but still collectible, with values ranging from $50 to $500 depending on the extent and visibility of the lamination. One of the most sought-after features for Jefferson nickels, including the 1977 P, is the full steps designation, where the steps leading up to Monticello on the reverse are fully struck and clearly defined, a rarity due to the high-speed minting process that often results in weak strikes, and a 1977 P nickel graded MS65 or higher with full steps can be worth $50 to $200, with MS66 examples potentially reaching $500 or more, as noted by PCGS, which estimates that full steps coins are scarce. in any condition for this year. The condition of the coin is paramount, as collectors pay a premium for uncirculated or high-grade examples, using the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, where MS-60 and above denote mint state coins, and a 1977 P nickel in MS-65 might be worth $2 to $4, but in MS-66 with full steps, it could climb to $500. And in the ultra-rare MS-67, values could soar into the thousands, especially if paired with a significant error. The $71 million figure, while speculative, could theoretically apply to an extraordinary 1977 P nickel with a combination of errors, such as a dramatic DDO, an off-center strike, and full steps, graded at the pinnacle of MS-70, a grade almost unheard of for this year due to the Philadelphia Mint's inconsistent strikes, as noted in sources like PCGS CoinFacts, which highlight the scarcity of MS-66 and above examples. To put this into perspective, the most valuable Jefferson nickel known is the 1964 SMS, Special Mint Set, nickel, which sold for $32,900, and while no 1977 P nickel has yet reached such heights, a unique combination of errors could push its value into the millions, as seen with other rare error coins like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, which commands over $4 million due to its rarity and historical significance. The 1977 P nickel's potential for such value lies in its errors being one of a kind, as collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums for coins that stand out in a series with high mintages, where rarity is driven by anomalies rather than low production numbers. For example, a 1977 P nickel with a dramatic double die obverse, showing clear doubling on Jefferson's profile and inscriptions, combined with an off-center strike and a wrong planchet error, could create a coin so unique that it rivals the most famous error coins in history, potentially fetching millions at auction houses like Heritage Auctions, where rare nickels have set records. The Philadelphia Mint's lack of a mint mark in 1977 makes identifying errors trickier, as there's no mint mark to scrutinize for repunching, but this also means any mint mark-like anomaly, such as a misplaced D or S from a reused die, could be a groundbreaking discovery, potentially worth $10,000 or more if authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC. Collectors also value provenance, or the coin's history of ownership, which can add to its allure, so a 1977 P nickel with a documented story, perhaps discovered in a notable collection or linked to a mint worker's error, could further inflate its value. To find such a coin, collectors should check pocket change, estate sales, or flea markets, though the odds are slim given the high mintage, but online platforms like eBay or coin shops offer opportunities to acquire uncirculated rolls where errors might lurk. Grading is critical, and submitting a suspected error coin to PCGS or NGC can confirm its authenticity and value, as these services provide detailed certifications that collectors trust, often listing full steps or error designations that boost a coin's marketability. The 1977 P nickel's metal value, around 6 cents due to its copper-nickel composition, is negligible compared to its potential as a collectible, and while most circulated examples are worth only face value, uncirculated coins with minor errors can fetch $10 to $50, and those with major errors like a DDO or wrong planchet strike could climb into the thousands or beyond. The allure of the $71 million valuation stems from the dream of discovering a perfect storm of errors, a coin so rare and flawless that it captures the imagination of wealthy collectors, much like the 1918 Buffalo nickel that sold for $125,350 or the 1885 Liberty Head nickel that fetched $74,750. The 1977 P nickel's design, with Jefferson's left-facing profile based on Jean-Antoine Houdon's bust and Monticello's frontal view, is iconic, but its value skyrockets when minting flaws transform it into a numismatic uniseer. Next, 2015 P Jefferson Nickel USA coins today. Coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters, to an exciting deep dive into the world of the 2015 P Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece that could be worth a staggering $10 million due to rare errors, minting mistakes, and unique mint mark anomalies. Buckle up for an epic journey through numismatic history that might just inspire you to check your pocket change. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, honors Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president, with his portrait on the obverse and his iconic Monticello estate on the reverse, designed by Felix Schlag, and has been a staple of American coinage for decades, but it's the rare imperfections in certain coins, particularly those from 2015 struck at the Philadelphia Mint, that transform them from mere pocket change into potential fortunes. The 2015 P Jefferson nickel, with a mintage of over 1.1 billion, is one of the most common coins produced that year, valued at just 5 cents in circulated condition, but specific errors and varieties elevate its worth to astronomical levels, captivating collectors and investors alike. Let's explore what makes these coins so valuable, starting with the mint mark itself. The P indicates the coin was struck in Philadelphia, a mint known for producing coins without mint marks until 1980, except for wartime nickels, making the consistent use of the P mark on modern nickels like the 2015 a notable feature for collectors tracking mint-specific varieties. The Philadelphia Mint's high output in 2015 means most 2015 P nickels are worth face value, but errors such as double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and improper planchet errors create rarities that can command millions. A double die error, one of the most sought-after mistakes, occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during its creation, resulting in a doubled image on the obverse or reverse, such as Jefferson's profile or the steps of Monticello appearing with a ghostly double effect, and while no specific 2015 P double die has been officially documented as worth $10 million. Similar errors on Jefferson nickels, like the 1943 P double die obverse, have fetched tens of thousands. Suggesting a pristine, dramatic 2015 P double die could theoretically reach such a valuation if certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC as a high-grade MS67 or MS68 with full steps designation, where the 6 steps of Monticello are sharply defined. Full steps nickels are a collector's holy grail, as the precision required to strike a coin with all 6 steps intact is rare, especially in high mintage years like 2015, and a 2015 P nickel with a double die and full steps could push its value into the stratosphere, potentially nearing that $10 million mark if it's a one-of-a-kind discovery. Another error that could skyrocket the value is the repunched mint mark, or RPM, where the P mint mark is struck multiple times, slightly misaligned, creating a visible overlap, a mistake more common in earlier decades when mint marks were hand-punched but still possible in 2015 due to occasional die preparation oversights, and while RPMs on modern nickels are less common, a dramatic 2015 P RPM could fetch thousands, or if coupled with other errors, climb significantly higher. Off-center strikes, where the coin is misaligned during striking, leaving part of the design missing or shifted, are another valuable error, with a 50% off-center 2015 P nickel potentially worth $300 to $1,000 depending on condition, but a unique specimen with a perfect combination of off-center striking, full steps, and a high grade could captivate auction houses, driving bids into the millions for its rarity and visual appeal. Clipped planchet errors, where the coin blank is improperly cut, resulting in a curved or missing edge, add another layer of value, typically fetching $100 to $500, but a 2015 P nickel with a dramatic clip, full steps, and pristine condition could be a standout, especially if paired with other errors. Perhaps the most intriguing possibility is a 2015 P nickel struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime or quarter blank, or even a foreign coin like a Philippine centavo, as seen in rare 1964 nickels, which could weigh less or have a different composition, making it a numismatic unicorn. If such an error were discovered in MS67 or higher, its uniqueness could justify a multi-million-dollar valuation, as collectors prize coins with such dramatic minting mistakes. The 2015 P nickel's composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, remains consistent with most Jefferson nickels, unlike the 1942 to 1945 wartime nickels that used 35% silver, but a hypothetical error where a 2015 P was struck on a silver planchet would be a game-changer, potentially worth millions due to its impossible nature. As the mint had long ceased using silver for nickels, making such a find a numismatic anomaly akin to the 1943 copper penny, which has sold for over $1 million. The condition of the coin is paramount, as even minor wear can drastically reduce value, but a 2015 P nickel in MS67 or MS68 with full steps, regardless of the error, is exceptionally rare due to the high-speed minting processes of modern coins, which often result in weaker strikes, and collectors pay premiums for coins graded by PCGS or NGC as gem quality, with full steps adding a significant multiplier. For instance, a 1964 Jefferson nickel with full steps in MS67 sold for $14,100 in 2014, and a 2015 P with a similar grade and a unique error could far exceed that, especially if it's a newly discovered variety that sparks a bidding war among collectors. The history of Jefferson nickels adds context to their value. Introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, they were designed to honor Jefferson's legacy, with Monticello symbolizing his architectural genius, and the 2015 P nickel continues this tradition, but its high mintage makes pristine, error-free examples less exciting unless paired with a dramatic flaw. The mint's quality control in 2015 was advanced, but mistakes still slipped through, and collectors actively seek these imperfections, as seen in eBay listings and auction records where error coins consistently outperform standard issues. Another factor is the special strike possibility, like the 1964 SMS special mint set nickels, which are valued at up to $32,900 for their satin-like finish and sharp strike, while no 2015 PSMS nickels are documented. A similar special strike error could emerge, especially if the mint experimented with limited runs, and such a coin in pristine condition could approach the $10 million mark if it's one of only a few known examples. The allure of a $10 million 2015 P nickel lies in its rarity and the story it tells. A single coin, overlooked in circulation, could be a hidden treasure due to a minting mistake, and collectors are drawn to the thrill of the hunt, scouring change jars, coin rolls, and flea markets for that one-in-a-billion find. The numismatic community thrives on such discoveries, as seen with the 1950 D nickel, which, despite a mintage of 2.6 million, became valuable due to hoarding and speculation, and while the 2015 P doesn't have a low mintage, a unique error could create similar frenzy. To identify a valuable 2015 P nickel, check the mint mark's clarity, look for doubling in Jefferson's profile or Monticello's steps, inspect for off-center designs or clipped edges, and weigh the coin to detect planchet errors. A standard nickel weighs 5 grams, so anything lighter or heavier could indicate a wrong planchet. Grading is critical, as coins in MS65 or higher with full steps are exponentially rarer, and professional grading by PCGS or NGC authenticates the coin's condition and error, with auction records showing that high-grade error nickels, like a 1942 D over horizontal D valued at $32,200, can command premiums when unique. The 2015 P nickel's potential $10 million value hinges on an undiscovered or extremely rare error, perhaps a combination of a double die, off-center strike, and wrong planchet, graded MS68 with full steps, which would make it a singular piece in numismatic history, akin to the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, of which only 5 exist, valued at millions. Collectors should also consider market dynamics. Coin values fluctuate based on demand, rarity, and economic conditions, and while no 2015 P nickel has yet sold for $10 million, the precedent of other Jefferson nickels with errors fetching tens of thousands suggests it's possible if a perfect storm of errors and condition aligns. To maximize your chances of finding such a coin, search through uncirculated rolls from 2015, visit coin shops for mislabeled treasures, or check online marketplaces like eBay, where error coins are often listed, but beware of fakes. Authentication is key. The Jefferson nickel series, with its rich history of errors from wartime silver nickels to modern minting mishaps, remains a fertile ground for collectors, and the 2015 P, while common in its standard form, holds the potential for life-changing value if you uncover that one-in-a-million error. So, next time you hold a 2015 P Jefferson nickel, take a magnifying glass, check for those telltale signs of doubling, misalignment, or odd weight, and you might just be holding a numismatic masterpiece worth millions. Happy hunting, and keep exploring the fascinating world of coins. Next 2000 P Jefferson Nickel USA coins today. Coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure hunters, to an exciting journey into the world of the 2000 P Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece that could be worth millions due to rare errors, minting mistakes, and unique characteristics. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who just found a nickel in your pocket change, this video is for you, as we dive deep into the fascinating story of why certain 2000 P Jefferson nickels are valued at an astonishing $5 million, far beyond their humble face value. Let's unravel the mystery of these extraordinary coins, exploring the history, design, errors, and market dynamics that make them some of the most sought-after treasures in modern coin collecting. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, is a staple of American coinage, featuring the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president, on the obverse, and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse, designed by Felix Schlag. The 2000 P. Jefferson nickel, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, is part of this long-running series, with a mintage of over 846 million coins, making it one of the most common nickels produced that year. At first glance, this high mintage suggests that these coins are worth little more than their 5-cent face value, especially in circulated condition, where they typically trade for 30 cents to $1.23 in uncirculated mint state, MS, grades, according to sources like USA Coin Book. However, hidden among these millions are rare specimens with errors and varieties that elevate their value to jaw-dropping heights, potentially reaching $5 million for the right coin in pristine condition with specific minting anomalies. To understand why a 2000 P. Jefferson nickel could command such an extraordinary price, we need to explore the types of errors and minting mistakes that can transform an ordinary coin into a numismatic masterpiece. One of the most valuable errors in coin collecting is the double die, where the coin's design is struck twice by the die, slightly misaligned, creating a noticeable doubling effect on elements like the text, Jefferson's profile, or Monticello's features. For the 2000 P nickel, a double die obverse, DDO, or double die reverse, DDR, could significantly increase its value, especially if the doubling is dramatic and visible to the naked eye. A prominent double die error, particularly on the obverse showing Jefferson's portrait or the inscriptions, Liberty or In God We Trust, could fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars, depending on its clarity and condition. For example, a 1939 double die reverse Jefferson nickel sold for $3,450 at auction, and while no specific 2000 P double die has been documented as reaching $5 million, a hypothetical pristine MS-68 example with a dramatic DDO could approach such a valuation if certified by top grading services like PCGS or NGC, especially with the coveted full steps designation, which we'll explore later. Another error that could elevate a 2000 P nickel's value is an off-center strike, where the design is misaligned, leaving part of the coin's surface blank. A 50% off-center strike, where half the design is missing, could be worth $300 to $1,000 or more, depending on how much of the design remains visible and the coin's condition. If a 2000 P nickel were struck 75% or more off-center, with only a sliver of Jefferson's portrait or Monticello visible, its rarity could push its value into the tens of thousands, particularly if it's in gem condition, graded MS-65 or higher. Even more intriguing is the possibility of a 2000 P nickel struck on a wrong planchet, such as a dime or quarter blank, resulting in a coin with an incorrect size, weight, or metal composition. Such errors are exceedingly rare, and examples from other years, like a Jefferson nickel struck on a cent planchet, have sold for over $5,000. A 2000 P nickel struck on a silver planchet, perhaps a leftover from the wartime nickel era, 1942 to 1945, or on a gold-colored planchet, could theoretically command a premium far exceeding $100,000, as collectors prize these dramatic errors for their uniqueness. Another error to consider is the clipped planchet, where the coin is struck on a blank that wasn't fully cut from the metal sheet, resulting in a curved or missing edge. A 2000 P nickel with a significant clip could be worth hundreds of dollars, with multiple clips or a dramatic single clip potentially increasing its value further. Additionally, repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the mint mark is struck multiple times with slight misalignment, are highly collectible. Although the Philadelphia Mint's P mark on 2000 nickels is typically consistent, a rare repunched P/P error could add a premium, with similar RPM errors from other years, like the 1942 D over horizontal D, fetching up to $15,275 in MS-66 condition. While no documented 2000 P RPM has reached $5 million, a unique combination of errors, such as an RPM combined with a double die or full steps, could push a coin's value into the stratosphere. The full steps designation is a critical factor in the value of Jefferson nickels, including the 2000 P. This term refers to the clarity of the 6 steps leading up to Monticello on the reverse, which requires a precise, high-quality strike to be fully visible. Coins with 5 or 6 clear, uninterrupted steps are graded as 5FS or 6FS by PCGS, and these designations can multiply a coin's value by orders of magnitude. For instance, a 1970 D nickel with full steps in high grade is worth thousands, and a 2000 P nickel in MS67 or MS68 with 6FS could command a similar premium due to its rarity. The PCGS estimates that only a tiny fraction of Jefferson nickels achieve full steps, as the mint often used worn dies or lower strike pressure, resulting in weaker step details. A 2000 P nickel with full steps, graded MS68 by PCGS or NGC, could be valued at $10,000 or more, and if combined with a major error like a double die or off-center strike, its value could escalate dramatically, potentially approaching the $5 million mark in an auction setting with intense collector demand. The condition of the coin is paramount, as even minor wear can reduce a coin's grade from mint state to circulated, slashing its value. For a 2000 P nickel to be worth $5 million, it would need to be in pristine MS68 or higher condition, with no visible scratches, bag marks, or toning issues, and certified by a reputable grading service. The rarity of such high-grade coins, combined with a significant error, drives the astronomical value. Historical auction records provide context for these valuations. A 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel with full steps sold for $32,900, and a 1918 S Buffalo nickel in MS66 fetched $125,350, showing that rare nickels in top condition can command extraordinary prices. The 2000 P nickel, while common in circulated grades, becomes exponentially rarer in gem condition, especially with errors. Another factor contributing to a potential $5 million valuation is the coin's provenance or historical significance. If a 2000 P nickel were discovered to be a unique prototype, test strike, or part of a special mint set, its value could skyrocket. For example, the 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, with fewer than 40 known examples, is valued at tens of thousands due to its mysterious origins and limited population. A 2000 P nickel with a similar backstory, perhaps a one-of-a-kind error discovered in a mint-sealed bag or a coin with a documented history tied to a significant mint event, could captivate collectors and drive bidding wars at auction. Market dynamics also play a role, as collector demand for Jefferson nickels has surged in recent years, particularly for error coins and full steps varieties. The rise of online platforms like eBay and heritage auctions has made it easier for collectors to find and bid on rare coins, pushing prices higher. In 2005, an 1885 P Liberty Head nickel in MS67 sold for $74,750, and while this is a different series, it illustrates how scarcity and condition can drive prices into the tens or hundreds of thousands. For a 2000 P nickel to reach $5 million, it would likely need to combine multiple rare attributes: a dramatic double die, full steps, an off-center strike, or a wrong planchet error, all in MS68 or higher condition, with a unique provenance that captures the imagination of wealthy collectors. The possibility of counterfeits or alterations adds a layer of caution, as seen with the infamous Francis Leroy Henning, who faked nickels in the 1940s and 1950s, including a 1944 wartime nickel without the P mint mark. Authenticating a 2000 P nickel with a major error requires professional grading and verification to ensure it's not a product of tampering. Collectors should look for telltale signs of errors, such as doubling in the inscriptions, misaligned designs, or unusual metal coloration, and consult experts or grading services to confirm authenticity. The allure of finding such a coin in circulation is part of what makes the 2000 P Jefferson nickel so exciting. While most are worth just a few cents, a single coin with the right combination of errors could be hiding in a coin roll, a family collection, or even loose change. Stories of everyday people finding valuable nickels, like the Pennsylvania man who discovered a 1939 double-die nickel worth $3,450, fuel the dreams of collectors. The 2000 P nickel's potential $5 million valuation is a theoretical ceiling, but not impossible, given the right circumstances, a unique error, pristine condition, and intense collector interest. The Jefferson nickel series, with its rich history and ongoing production, continues to captivate numismatists, and the 2000 P, despite its high mintage, holds the promise of hidden treasures. So, the next time you get a nickel in change, take a closer look. It might just be the one-in-a-million coin that changes your life. Next, 1987 P Jefferson nickel, coin enthusiasts, to an exciting deep dive into one of the most intriguing topics in numismatics, the 1987 P Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece that could potentially be worth a staggering $70 million due to rare errors, mint mark anomalies, and unique production quirks that make it a holy grail for collectors. If you've ever wondered how a humble nickel could transform into a numismatic treasure, you're in for a treat as we unravel the fascinating story behind this coin, exploring its history, design, production, and the extraordinary mistakes that could elevate its value to astronomical heights. So grab your magnifying glass and let's embark on this coin-collecting adventure together. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, is a staple of American coinage, designed by Felix Schlag to honor the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, featuring his portrait on the obverse and his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse, a design that has remained largely consistent for decades, with the 1987 P Jefferson nickel being no exception. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally omitted mint marks on nickels until 1980, except for specific wartime issues. In 1987, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 400 million Jefferson nickels, making the 1987 PEA high mintage coin, with a face value of just 5 cents and a melt value of approximately $0.0572 due to its composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing 5 grams with a diameter of 21.2 millimeters and a plain edge. At first glance, this coin seems unremarkable, with an estimated value of 30 cents to $3.28 in uncirculated condition, MS+, and proof coins from the San Francisco Mint that year valued at around $3.54 or more, according to sources like USA Coin Book. However, the allure of the 1987 P Jefferson nickel lies not in its standard production but in the potential for rare errors and varieties that could make a single coin worth millions, a possibility that has sparked the imagination of collectors worldwide. Let's start by exploring the context of 1987, a year when the U.S. Mint was churning out coins at a massive scale to meet circulating demands, with the Philadelphia Mint alone producing 410,100,000 nickels, a figure that suggests commonality but also increases the likelihood of errors slipping through quality control due to the sheer volume of production. During this era, the Mint was still using manual processes for certain aspects of die preparation, including the hand-punching of mint marks on some dies, which had been reintroduced in 1968 after a brief hiatus, and while the 1987 P nickel carries the P mint mark on the obverse to the right of Jefferson's portrait, errors in this process could lead to spectacular varieties. One of the most coveted error types for Jefferson nickels is the repunched mint mark, RPM, where the mint mark is struck multiple times, often misaligned, creating a doubled or tripled appearance, such as a P/P variety where the P is punched over itself, slightly offset, producing a shadow effect visible under magnification. While no specific 1987 P RPM has been documented as a $70 million coin, the precedent for valuable RPMs exists in earlier Jefferson nickels, like the 1942 D over horizontal D, which can fetch up to $32,200 in MS-66 with full steps designation, suggesting that a dramatic, previously undiscovered 1987 P RPM could theoretically command an extraordinary premium if it exhibits unique characteristics. Another error that could elevate the 1987 PS value is the double die, where the design elements on the obverse or reverse are doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process, with notable examples in the Jefferson series, such as the 1939 double die reverse, where Monticello and 5 cents show clear doubling, selling for $23,500 in MS-67 condition. For the 1987 P, a double die obverse affecting Jefferson's profile, particularly his eye or the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," could create a visually striking error, and if combined with pristine condition and full steps, where the 6 steps leading to Monticello are fully distinct due to a sharp strike, the value could soar into the millions, especially if only a handful of examples are known to exist. Full steps nickels are a collector's obsession, as the mint's high-speed production often resulted in weak strikes that blurred the steps, making coins with crisp, uninterrupted steps exceedingly rare, with examples like the 1953 S full steps fetching $24,000 in MS-67, hinting at the potential for a 1987 P full steps coin with a significant error to break records. Another tantalizing possibility is the off-metal strike, where a 1987 P nickel is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or a foreign coin like a Philippine centimo, as seen in some 1976 nickels, resulting in a coin with incorrect dimensions, weight, or composition, such as a 1987 P nickel struck on a 2.27-gram dime planchet instead of the standard 5 grams, creating a visually distinct error with partial or missing inscriptions due to the smaller planchet size, which could command prices in the tens of thousands or more, depending on rarity and collector demand. Overdate errors, while less common in the 1980s due to improved minting technology, are another potential jackpot, where a die from a previous year, say 1986, is repunched with 1987, leaving traces of the earlier date, similar to the 1943 fishhook nickel that sold for $16,675 in MS-66, and in 1987. P overdate with clear doubling of the date could be a numismatic sensation if discovered. Double strike errors, where the coin is struck twice with misaligned designs, creating overlapping images, are also highly prized, with a 2007 Jefferson nickel struck over a George Washington dollar selling for $17,625 due to its dramatic appearance, suggesting that a 1987 P double strike error combining elements of another coin could push its value into the stratosphere. The concept of a $70 million 1987 P nickel may seem far-fetched, but it's grounded in the precedent of ultra-rare Jefferson nickels, like the 1964 SMS, Special Mint Set, nickel, of which fewer than 40 examples exist, with one selling for $41,231.25 in MS-68 full steps due to its experimental matte finish and exceptional strike quality, a benchmark that in 1987 P nickel with a unique combination of errors, say, a double die obverse, repunched mint mark, and full steps in gem condition, could theoretically surpass if it captures the imagination of high-end collectors at auction. The rarity of such a coin would depend on the number of surviving examples, as the mint often destroyed error coins caught during quality control, but those that escaped into circulation or were preserved in uncirculated sets could become legendary, much like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, which sold for $4.56 million due to its extreme rarity, with only 5 known examples. The 1987 PS high mintage paradoxically increases the chance of errors slipping through, as quality control was stretched thin during peak production years, and while no single documented 1987 P error has reached $70 million, the numismatic market thrives on the discovery of new varieties, with auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers reporting record-breaking sales for previously unknown errors, such as the 1942 D over horizontal D or the 1943 P double die, which add historical and visual intrigue. Collectors also value condition rarities, and in 1987 P nickel in MS-70, perfect condition with no imperfections under 5x magnification, would be exceptionally rare due to the rigors of mass production, potentially fetching tens of thousands on its own, but when paired with a dramatic error like a double die or off-metal strike, the value could escalate exponentially, especially if certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC with designations like full steps or deep cameo for proofs. The Philadelphia Mint's history of producing error coins, such as the 1942 P wartime nickel with a large mint mark, underscores its potential for mistakes, and while 1987 was a relatively modern year, the persistence of hand-punched mint marks until the 1990s means that RPMs and other die errors remained possible. Environmental factors, such as wear and tear on dies, could also produce subtle varieties, like die cracks or cuds, where a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob on the coin, adding to its uniqueness and value. The numismatic community's fascination with full steps collecting, which gained traction in the 1970s, further amplifies the value of 1987 P nickels that achieved this designation, as even non-era full steps coins from other years, like the 1950 D, have sold for $17,250 due to their scarcity and pristine condition. The $70 million valuation may also draw inspiration from the broader coin market, where rarities like the 1894 S. Barber dime, worth nearly $2 million, or the 1971 Eisenhower silver dollar show how historical significance and low survival rates drive prices, and while the 1987 P lacks the silver content of wartime nickels, its potential lies in the what-if scenario of a singular, undocumented error coin that combines multiple anomalies. Imagine a 1987 P nickel with a double die obverse, a repunched P mint mark, struck on a dime planchet, and exhibiting full steps in MS-68 or higher, a coin that would be a once-in-a-lifetime find for any collector. The allure of such a coin is further enhanced by the numismatic community's love for discovery stories, where everyday pocket change turns into a fortune, as seen with coins like the 1969 S double die Lincoln cent, which can fetch hundreds of thousands due to its rarity and visual appeal. For the 1987 P, the absence of a specific cataloged error worth $70 million suggests that this figure may be speculative, but the possibility exists that a yet